Hello friends, welcome back to the Python programming session. In today's session, let's cover the command line arguments. So what are command line arguments? Command line arguments are the arguments which we pass from the command line while running the Python program. So here the arguments are passed in the command line while running the Python program. So how can those arguments be accessed within the program? It can be accessed by sys.argv, which is in a form of a list which can be accessed in the program. So sys.argv is a list of command line arguments. It comprises of the command line arguments. And length of sys.argv provides the number of command line arguments. So if we pass 5 arguments, the first argument, that is sys.argv of 0, will be the Python file name, and the remaining 4 arguments will be the actual arguments. Suppose if we pass 6 arguments, the first argument will be the Python file name and the remaining 5 arguments will be the actual arguments. So firstly, we should go to the drive where our Python program is present. And then we have to execute py. Py is the command which we give for executing a Python file. So if we give py and then command 2 is the file name .py. Extension is py for the file name, Python file name. So and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are the arguments. We have to pass arguments without giving comma. It should have one argument space, the second argument, space, third argument, space, fourth argument, and space, the fifth argument. So when we pass this particular when we execute this particular command, our sys.argv of 0, that is sys.argv of 0, will comprise of command2.py, that is the file name, and argv of 1, sys.argv of 1 will comprise of the first item. Sys.argv of 2 comprises of the second item. Sys.argv of 3 comprises of the third argument. And sys.argv of 4 comprises of the fourth argument. And finally, sys.argv of 5 comprises of 5, which is the fifth argument. So firstly, we pass these arguments, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from the command line to the program command2.py. So firstly, let's write command2.py. I'll take a new file. Firstly, we have to import sys, import sys, and then import sys, and then okay, firstly we import sys, then let me say my n equal to length of sys.argv. Argv is the list which is comprising of our arguments. And now the first argument, that is sys.argv of 0, will be the file name. So print file name sys.argv of 0. So argv of 0 will hold the file name, that is command2.py. So when we print sys.argv of 0, it will print the file name. And now let's access the remaining arguments, actual arguments. For this, let me say for I in range 1, n, n is the length of the list. So for I in range 1, n, print arguments, or I'll put this above. Let me say print actual arguments and now let me say for I in range 1 to n, print sys.argv of I. So firstly, I will hold the value 1. So it will print sys.argv of 1, which is the first argument. Let me open this also. So sys.argv of 1 will be equal to 1, which is the first argument. And then I becomes 2 and it will print sys.argv of 2, which is equal to 2. Then I becomes 3, it will print 3, I becomes 4, 4, I becomes 5 and it will print 5. So it will print all the actual arguments. And now let's see the sum of all these arguments. So initially let me initialize it to 0. Then let me say for I in range 1 comma n, sum plus equal to, that is sum equal to sum plus int sys dot argv of I. So here the arguments which we are passing, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 will be in the string format. So for adding those items, we have to first type convert it into int. So we say int sys.argv of I. Sys.argv of I. And now finally let's print our sum. Sum equal to sum. So here friends, see in this particular case we are passing the Python command. I'll show you by executing in the command prompt. So firstly we'll say execute the Python file command2.py and we are passing these arguments. And these arguments will be stored in sys.argv in the list format. The first argument will be the file name, which is command2.py. And then I will range from 1 to n minus 1. So we'll have 2, 1, sys.argv of 0 will have the command file name. Sys.argv of 1 will have 1. 2 will have 2, sys.argv of 3 will have 3, sys.argv of 4 will be 4, sys.argv of 5 will be 5. And so let's print n also, which gives the number of parameters, number of arguments. So here n is the number of arguments, then the file name, actual arguments and the sum. So now let's execute this file. Let me save it as command2.py. So it is command2.python file, extension is py. So friends, now let's go on to the command line. My Python file is stored in this particular location. So it should be in the location where the Python file exists. And now if I say py command2.py and I pass the argument separated by spaces 1, 2, 3, 4 and then 5. Now if I print, see the number of arguments is 6. 5 for the file numbers and file name is also the argument. So totally 6 arguments are there. File name is the first argument, 1 is the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. So number of arguments is 6. File name is argv of sys.argv of 0. We have seen over here. File name is sys.argv of 0, which is giving file name equal to command2.py, and the actual arguments are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. and we are doing the sum of all these arguments, which is equal to 15. So this is how we can pass command line arguments through the command line, that is py file name and pass the arguments. These will be captured in sys.argv, and these arguments can be utilized in our program to do some calculations. Hope so friends, it is clear for you. If you have any doubts, please do reach to me out in the comment section. If you like my video, click on the like button and please do subscribe to get notifications of my new videos. Till then, see you. Bye bye.